And we are live. Thank you for being patient with me, folks. I know we're about 2 or 3 minutes late, and I do apologize for that. That is my fault. Wasn't paying attention. I was reading, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm 2 pots of coffee deep. I am, and I had to run to the bathroom and go shake the dew off the lilies. I'm sorry. I apologize, but let's do this. Let's get into it. There's so much happening today. There is news in the Supreme Court. There's news in Ukraine. There's news in other courts. There's news on the front with Abrego Garcia. There's news, but of course, the big breaking news is what happened yesterday at Florida State. Um, I got to tell you, folks, this is really something. Um, again, again, just again. And, I know people recoil when you talk about it being mental illness, um, but it is. We have an entire segment of our population that are mentally ill. And the result is 2 people have been killed, um, and 6 people injured because we've got an ideology in this country that is insane. And it's about time we start just calling it what it is. This is Phoenix Hickner. He's the murderer. And he is a MAGA Christian nationalist extremist. And it's about time that we just labeled this movement what it is. It's a white nationalist, extremist, radical movement. That's what MAGA is. It needs to be spoken about as one and the same because it's all it is. They are just constantly just bombarding us with people of color, anti-brown people, anti-immigrants, white grievance. It's the entire movement. It's the basis for the whole thing. They are domestic terrorists. They are domestic terrorists. They are. What we know so far is his mom was a sheriff's deputy. And the right wingers, of course, the people in the MAGA movement and the white supremacy MAGA movement are trying to blame an immigrant for this. They are. His biological mother, his stepmother, is the sheriff's deputy. But his biological mother, which he moved in with his father and stepmother when he was very, very young. When he was very, very young, they were having a custody dispute, and she took him out of the country temporarily. And this is what the right-wing, disgusting MAGA Christian nationalist, white supremacists are trying to spin about this. Well, first of all, they're just flat out lying, saying he's a leftist. He's a leftist. Yeah, I don't know many MAGA hat-wearing leftists, but yeah. He was just a gross individual, so much so that he had to be kicked out of his debate club They have one rule, you know. I'm going to play you a tape here of somebody that was, when he was at community college before he went to FSU. One of the people that moved to FSU at the same time was in the debate, ran the debate club, and they were, you know, he's pretty clear about this. You know, we had one rule: no Nazis. There were no ideological lines drawn. You could argue what you want to argue, just no Nazis, and he could not break that rule. Which makes you wonder about his mother, the cop. Shannon Mahoney, thank you for being the voice of reason. No, thank you for being here and supporting the show. It's about the community, folks. It's about you. It's about getting good information out. Because I guarantee you right now, what's going on is on the right wing, they're just lying their asses off. He's a liberal. He's a liberal. That's why. He's one of them college liberals. That's why it happened. No, he's not a liberal. He is a MAGA espousing, MAGA talking point repeating nut. He's one of you white supremacists. That's what he is. That's exactly what he is. And of course, he's white, so he was taken alive after murdering 2 people. But he's a very, 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 very sick individual. And I know people recoil from that. Well, it's mental illness. Well, you know what? It is mental illness, and we need to label that entire movement as mental illness. You know, Laura and I, that's for later in the show. That's for later in the show. Randy Oliver, you know, he will get due process. Yeah. You know, they call Abrego Garcia a terrorist, had to deport him with no due process at all. But this guy, this MAGA hat wearing disgusting white supremacist, oh yeah, they'll afford him every courtesy, including letting him walk out of there alive. You know me, I'm not afraid to dig in and say the hard things. This guy was all Mr. Super Christian. Every time you see a picture of him, he's got wearing a cross. One of the things that are circulating around of people that are putting actual factual information out is he was just baptized. Folks, I'm just going to lay it out there the way it is. You could not be a good Christian or a Trump Christian. You cannot be both. You are either a good Christian or you are a Trump Christian. There's no such thing as a good Trump Christian. None of your beliefs are Christian. And we need to start calling it out. There's no such thing as a real Trump Christian. You don't follow the book. Sky Comet, the anime vampire, thank you for being here. Just reminding everyone that there's another round of nationwide protests tomorrow. Also great to finally catch you live. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. New supporters. I'm telling you, that doesn't. And you know what? I want to take a second. I want to call out the moderators that are here every show. You guys, thank you so much for the work that you do. You know, keeping the trolls out, and I truly appreciate you. And you folks that are so generous and send me things to the post office box, I'm really grateful. I am really truly grateful. I apologize. I haven't been to the post office box in about a week. There's been a lot going on. I am going to go check it today, and I am truly grateful for all that you do. I am. Especially you moderators that are always here. You keep the show moving in the right direction, and I am truly grateful. I'm not going to play. There's a lot of really tough video about this shooting, and I'm not going to play the gross stuff. I'm just not. But I want you to have some idea of just how insane this person is, because he's typical MAGA. He is MAGA. Watch this. This is a video from during the shooting, and I promise you, it's not gory, but it is very troubling. That's ignorant. That's not the police. That's ignorant. Yeah, that was him identifying himself as police and telling them to open up the door. You know how many victims there would have been if these, we have got to have this is the insanity of what MAGA brings to our country. We've got to have these people trained to deal with this situation, and that is insane. That is just insane. It's just insane that they had to know not to open that door because the shooter was banging on the door claiming to be the police. And by the way, he used his mother's service weapon in this crime. They're all sick. They are. I told you there was a student that knew him, that went to junior college with him and then went to Florida State with him. This is him. He's already given an interview, just describing exactly what I'm telling you. This guy is just a white supremacist sicko.
The suspected shooter has been identified by police as an FSU student by the name of Phoenix Eichner. I know it's a big school. Did you happen to know him?
So I spent my first 2 years at Tallahassee, now called Tallahassee State College, but we called it TCC. And I was the president of a political talk group we called the Political Roundtable, and he joined the club when I was at TCC. Basically our only rule was no Nazis, colloquially speaking. And he espoused so much white supremacist rhetoric and far right rhetoric as well, to the point where we had to exercise that rule. I also know he was a member of the TCC Turning Point chapter. And since TCC, I have seen him in passing a couple times. Today, I was talking to a friend who had talked to him yesterday, or 2 days ago, pardon me. And he was talking about how he wasn't ready for exams.
To be clear, Reed, I just want to make sure that folks understand this. So you were a transfer student essentially to FSU, right?
So yeah, he literally had to be kicked out of his debate group because he is such a bigot. Typical MAGA. Just typical MAGA. Chris Passeri, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the community. This is the argument they want you making. MAGA and the Republicans are desperately hoping this is what comes out of this, that this is what we constantly repeat. That is the argument they want to have. They want to turn this to an argument about guns. They do, instead of their ideology. You will get farther in this world and you will get farther politically if you don't argue about what they want you to argue about. Argue about what they are. Make it embarrassing to be identified with them. You will get much farther. You will. And yeah, it's not a shock that he was in Turning Point. Folks, I have warned you before. Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA isn't just in your colleges, they're in high schools also. You need to ask your grandchildren if they are part of Turning Point USA. If they are being manipulated, they are being just mind screwed. This is not a good organization, folks. This is the kind of person that is drawn to Turning Point USA. They are radicals. They are groomers. They are trying to create an entire generation of young, biased, bigoted white men. They are. They really are. And when I say there's no such thing as a good Christian that is also a Trump Christian, I don't shy away from saying that. This is the kind of thing I'm talking about. This is what he just posted on his social media a little while back. Jeremiah 51:20. You are my war club, my weapon for battle. With you I shatter nations. With you I destroy kingdoms. Yeah. It's amazing the parts of the Bible that these MAGA freaks all are drawn to like they're bug lights. It's who they are, folks. And we really do. We need to just stop the pretense. MAGA is a white supremacist radical movement. Call it what it is. Call it what it is. I need 1 second. I apologize. I've got to pause for a second. Okay. Apologize. So, folks, I am begging you. I am a Democrat. I am a political strategist. And I am telling you, if we fall into the same stupid shit of having the argument that the Republicans want to have over this, instead of this guy is a MAGA wearing Republican, MAGA hat wearing Republican. He is an easy target. He espouses everything they say right now, today. And this is where he ends up murdering people because of their radical. If you fall into the gun debate, you will have lost everything that you could gain out of this. You will have lost everything that you can gain out of this politically. And you will not make a change. You will not. Because you cannot pass the kind of gun legislation that people are talking about in the Democratic Party, much less voting against Republicans. It's just not going to happen. There is no will there. So you will spin your wheels to gain nothing. You'll lose all of your political advantage. Make it about MAGA. This guy is literally a walking, talking, Trump repeating machine. He is exactly what we know this is leading to. We know these radicals want violence. And this is where I was going to tell you about Mrs. Texas Paul and I were at lunch yesterday. We're sitting there. I like Arby's, folks. Say what you want about it. I like Arby's. I do. So we go to Arby's every once in a while. And there's a couple of mechanics there, and I know they're mechanics because they're one of them is driving his, they've all got their shirts. I can see where they work. I know they're mechanics. One of them has a service truck out in the parking lot. And all they were talking about is how the courts are interfering with Trump doing his job. These are the same people that I have had to listen to bitch about the Constitution continuously for the last 10 years. You're not going to have a legal debate with these people. They're windsocks. They have no spines. They have no moral no character. It's all whatever their team wants. They have whined and bitched like little children about the Constitution forever. And the minute their guy comes in and shreds the Constitution, all good. It's all good. It's all good. And every one of these, and they were young white men, every one of these pathetically weak MAGA young white men have whined about the government and government overreach. Government needs to stay out of their business. Government needs to stay out of their house. Government needs to stay out of their gun cabinet. Not going to register my guns. Government don't need that information. Well, the government is literally, and this is one of the things we're going to talk about today. There's a big story on the Doge front. The government is literally, because it's their government is literally taking all of their personal information and doing God knows what with it, because they won't tell us. They won't tell us who they're giving it to. They won't tell us where they're taking it. They don't even tell us what they are doing with it. They keep giving us conflicting answers. They sit before judges and lie. So yeah, let's not try to have a political debate with these people and shame them. Call them out. Insult them. They deserve it. They deserve it. Patricia Coburn, thank you for being here and supporting the show. I really appreciate you. Thank you. I know $20 is a lot of money, and I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. Comment from Stop Coddling Stupid. Good people don't vote for a rapist, period. Exactly. Exactly. I had a person today who, if you go back and you look at, anyways, I'm not going to get off on the side note. I'm not. Just a person making very stupid comments. I had to block them today on my social media. We need to blame the organizations and the people. 1 second. Let's see if I can make this. I apologize about being so pixelated. Let me see if I can fix that. 1 second. Let me pause for a second. I apologize. Let's see if we can make this a little better. Let's see if that's better. Dave Ingham, thank you for being here. We need to blame the organization and the person, not the items used to do the deed. Thank you. You'll get farther. I'm not saying you're wrong. Don't get me. I am not saying you're wrong. I am not saying that we are way too laxed in our gun policies. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying that at all, but I am just telling you from a political point of view, if that is the argument you let them goad you into, you lose immediately. Don't go down that path. Make it about MAGA. Make it about MAGA ideology and humiliate them. Make them be embarrassed to be associated with it. Red Freckles, glad to see you here. New supporter, thank you for being here. What about when their grandson's Social Security goes away? Amen. That's the kind of thing I'm telling you about. Chris R., you make me feel better about the future as long as I ignore the coming collapse in 9.5 years. It's going to be work, man. It's going to be work. It is. We're going to have to make some changes. We're going to have to fundamentally change the way we do things. We are, but these morons can't do it. This happened yesterday. Just pick things up a little, make things a little bit brighter. Yeah, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is alive. He is confirmed. After being told that he was not going to be allowed to meet with Kilmar Garcia Abrego, Honestly, I don't know which name he goes by, to be honest with you. I don't know the man personally. I don't know if he goes by Kilmar. I don't know if he goes by Armando. I don't know if he goes by Abrego, but most people have been calling him Abrego Garcia. So that's what I'm going to do. His wife calls him Kilmar. So I don't know. What do you think? All right, we'll go by Kilmar. His wife calls him Kilmar. We'll call him Kilmar. But God bless Senator Van Hollen. He is a hero. He is a brave man. He went down to El Salvador, and they refused to let him see him. They said it just wasn't possible. Just wasn't possible. Couldn't do it. Couldn't swing it. Couldn't make it happen. Too dangerous. And they immediately recanted from that because of you good people. Because you good people all over social media began to immediately point out, well, wait a minute. You could let Puppy Killer in with cameras and media, but you can't let one senator in to sit down with Kilmar Garcia? Really? Who's shitting who here? And it was you people, really, to be quite honest with you, it was you people that made that happen. The fact that their spin and their bullshit was so blatant and y'all were calling it out. I guess you're not listening, Jonathan Earl. I mean, I appreciate you being here, but Chris Van Hollen literally just met with him yesterday evening. He is alive. He is well. And we're going to get him back here. We are. I've got to say, it's not all good news on that front, because apparently the Trump regime is dead set on having a collision with the Supreme Court, because despite the Supreme Court telling them, hey, look, you can't do this without due process, they just had another flight. They just did it again. They violated the judge's orders. And we've got some of the gross details in a filing that was just filed again on the matter that it's just, let me read it to you. As detailed in the Brown Declaration, in the hours after the court's order on the TRO, Attorney Brown's client, FGM, was approached by ICE officers accused of being a member of Tren de Aragua, of course, and told to sign papers in English. Exhibit A, so they've got the documentation he was told to sign. FGM understands only Spanish, and he refused to sign. ICE told him the papers were, quote, were coming from the president and that he will be deported even if he did not sign it, unquote. Another Venezuelan man who is detained at Blue Bonnet down here in Texas and speaks English then read the notice to Attorney Brown, and the notice tracks the language of the Alien Enemies Act. Quote, in the notice, it classified FGM as a TDA gang member, Tren de Aragua gang member, unquote, who, quote, must be removed, unquote, from the United States. FGM, like other men against whom the Alien Enemies Act has already been used, does not have a final order of removal and is therefore not removable under the immigration laws. The notice was not provided to counsel by the government, nor did the government inform Attorney Brown that their client was being designated under the Alien Enemies Act. So yeah, they're just, again, they think that's their get out of jail free card. I'm just gonna say you're Tren de Aragua. That's it. And I've got this came out. Kilmar Abrego. I told you it was going to be a jailhouse snitch or something like that they were using. Worse. The person that accused Kilmar Abrego of being Tren de Aragua is a cop, or was a cop, a disgraced, fired cop. 4 days after accusing Kilmar Abrego of being a gang member, he was suspended. He was suspended because he was screwing a prostitute and abusing his CIs. Yeah, that is the guy who's fingering people and telling the government who is the gang members. And what did this come from? Kilmar Abrego was at a day labor site looking to pick up an extra job to make some more money for his family. And they did a sweep and arrested everybody. And they had to release him because he's here legally. But they identified a couple of people. This officer, of course, files that everybody there was Tren de Aragua. Everybody there was, dangerous gangs, man, out there. Don't you know the dangerous gangs and their takeover of the concrete industry? The ditch digging industry? Good Lord, man. Don't you know about the handyman mafia? That's where this all comes from. We're finding this out. It's coming out in court documents. That is why they do not want Kilmar Garcia back in this country. So much so that they just attacked him. They released court records. His wife, his current wife, he's raising 2 children that are from a previous marriage of hers. Her former husband was abusive as hell, by her own testimony. So her and Kilmar Abrego got into an argument, and she did what she learned to do with her first husband. She went down and filed for a temporary restraining order. She called the cops for protection, and the cops showed up, said, look, man, y'all are fighting. You got to leave the house. You got to do that. That's standard. That's normal. That's what happens. If you're having a fight with your wife or your husband and y'all end up calling the police are going to march the husband out of the house. That's just normal procedure. She did not follow up on the temporary restraining order. She realized, in her words, not mine, that Kilmar is not like her ex-husband, and they worked it out. So all over social media, the right-wingers, he's a wife beater. That's who you're defending. He's a wife beater. They don't know shit about what they're talking about. But I told you, the bigots desperately wanted something. Anything. Please give me anything so that I can call this man, horrible shit and make it okay that you're shredding the Constitution. Because I'm a bigot and I want you to just attack the brown people. I'll let you do it. Just give me something. These are disgusting people. Just disgusting people. Scott, any relationship between MAGA and Mexico guns? Yeah. The Iron River, the guns flowing down to Mexico that they bitch about the violent cartels and how they're shooting people and this. What are they shooting them with, Cletus? Huh? Is that one of your guns, Cletus? Your side job, buying guns at the gun show and selling them? Catch my whiff. Going forward, I'm going to be making a stronger effort to support local family farms and local organizations. Helps them and the community and the earth. Great message. Great message. That's why I say, man, I tell people all the time. I post about the show. I said, look, come be in the live chat. These are the best people on earth. And I mean it. I'm not kissing your ass, folks. You are good people. Sharon Reddy, longtime supporter. Much good may follow this. Good wins the battle against evil, but good doesn't require evil to respond. It does require maintenance. Amen. At work. That's why evil is against education. Amen. That is true. Well said. Well said. Well said. Ivy Kaminsky, gang members always posing as day laborers at the Home Depot. I know, right? I'm telling you, them cartels, it is the handyman mafia, man. They're taking over that concrete labor. Man, that's all cartels, dude. That's all cartel. A disgraced, fired cop. They are wrecking lives, ripping people's due process away from them. Their day in court, not showing their work because they want to hide the fact that it is a disgraced, fired cop that they're using. Fucking disgusting. A.K. Martinez, thank you for being here supporting the show. Thank you. And I guarantee you right now, Fox News is not calling Phoenix Eichner, Phoenix Eichner. They're not calling Phoenix Eichner a terrorist. They aren't. But Abrego Garcia, the guy trying to pick up the second job down at Home Depot to bring in some more money for his family, that dude's a terrorist. Freaking bigots. Call it out. I mean, those weak, pathetic sons of bitches sitting at Arby's, running their mouths. How long did I have to get ear raped by you, whining continuously about the Constitution and your rights, just to have you sit here and shit all over the Constitution and due process and the rule of law? Can't register my guns because government used that information, but they'll rape every bit of information out there and not tell you what they're doing with it. And you're all cool with it, man, because it's your fucking bigot that's doing it. You're shit. I have zero respect for you, you MAGA pieces of shit. Kim P., thank you for being. I told you I had a lot of coffee today, folks. I'm out there. SCOTUS had access to full court records, etc. Hence 9-0. Bondi knows this. We need, bigot Barbie. Yeah, she knows. Bondi knows this. We need to report her to the Bar Association. Amen. And every moron out there. I had to block a leftist today because they were on the Kilmar Abrego is a wife beater. You defended a wife beater? Yeah, prove it. I know he had a fight with his wife, but his wife tells me that, it just didn't go that far. It was heated on both sides. I didn't follow up with the restraining order. My first husband was abusive, so I was protecting myself. That's it. But I got to disregard everything she says because you're a bigot and don't know how it works. Folks, I am telling you, I had more people when I posted about this, the video that I posted yesterday about this, I had more people say, look, I've been married for 50 years. And when me and my husband were young, we used to throw hands at each other. And I understand how this happens. Folks, you do not know what's going on inside someone else's marriage. You don't know. I know a guy personally that has a record. His wife throws fucking hands like a lightweight boxer. He shoved her against the wall, holding both her wrists, pushed her against the wall, and held her. She called the cops on him. He never said once that she hit him because He didn't want them both arrested, did not want his kids going into the system to foster parents. So she didn't touch me. His face was fucking swollen up like a damn orangutan because she threw hands like a damn lightweight boxer. But he never said a word about her because he wanted his kids home with their mom, not arrested. And he was getting arrested because he admitted, I grabbed her and I shoved her against a wall. I know this man personally. I know he is a mountain of a man, and if he was beating his wife, she would be dead. He could kill me with his bare hands. I'm talking about one of those people, you shake their hands and it feels like you got a ham in your hand. You don't know what's going on in someone's marriage, and they're shitting on the Constitution over what they don't know. Monica Meadows, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you. These are bad people. Call them out. Call them out for being the bad people they are. You cannot be a good Christian and a Trump Christian. You cannot. You simply cannot. Amen. Maine Mudsill. Verify the politics of local businesses before buying from them. Amen. Amen. George Allen, there's a very evil man on radio and TV. His name is Mark Levin. He screams right wing. Yeah, I know what Mark Levin is. It's me. When is the next sit on your wallet day? Soon. Very soon. Very soon. And that's working, by the way. They showed the average person cut about 10% out of their spending. Folks, that is huge. That talking about the economic boycotts, that is huge. If you can cut 10% out of your spending, that is huge. You will make a difference. They will notice. But these people are just imbeciles at every freaking turn. Every single thing they do. I told you they're going to fail, and they are failing. They are 100% failing. This is coming to an end. And we're going to talk about a couple different ways in which, it is literally coming to an end. Monica Chappell, thank you for supporting you. Thank you for standing up for our country and telling it like it is. One day, I hope the Democratic Party can make the link between this recent loss and Elian Gonzalez. If we can look at that, we can fix all of this. I'm telling you, they don't have the mental or moral fortitude to have deep discussions about real things. You cannot have Republicans in your government. They're not human. They don't function like humans. They don't. Josh Hassinger, this wife-beating nonsense is exactly how the right divides and conquers us with this narrative. The proof is in the 2024 election. Hold the line. Amen. Amen. The bigots wanted and needed something to hold on to. Suzanne Sylvester, thank you for supporting the show. And the virtue signalers that are on our side broke for the hills, man, the minute they thought they were going to look bad. I'm telling you, folks, that works. If you make somebody look bad, that works politically. You need to be screaming this FSU shooter, MAGA, MAGA. Perfect example of MAGA. Everything he says and does, everything he believes is you're a radical, you're a terrorist. Silly Bee-Boo, Pam is Bigot Barbie, and Caroline is Stickler Skipper. I don't know about the second one, but yeah, that's what I call Pam Bondi, Bigot Barbie, 100%. This happened. We're going to jump to some international news for a second. This got drowned out by the FSU shooting. But yeah, Rubio's come out and said, look, if Russia doesn't move on this and we don't get a deal in the next few days, we're out. We're out. It's over. We're not going to hold responsibility for failing. We're just going to bail. We're just going to bail. But of course, this isn't about peace or doing the right thing or anything like that. What is behind it is dirty politics and bribery. Let me explain what I mean by that. Brian, coming out with guns blazing, my man. $100 is a lot of cash. I appreciate you. Question: if the courts are not going to place Trump or any of the other buttheads in jail for being in contempt, then are we at the Rubicon, or are we in the Rubicon? The Rubicon is the midterm elections. It is. If we do not seize power back in the midterms, yeah, that's it, man. That's really it. Constitution, government, all of it is over. It is over. You want to know the truth? Where the Rubicon is? It's the midterms. If we seize power back in the midterms, we have investigations, we have rule of law, we make the government work. If we do not seize power back, the government's over, because Republicans are already ceding it. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Supreme Court today. But yeah, I mean, just to answer your question directly, the midterms, that's the Rubicon. Zydix, thank you for supporting the show. Hey, handsome, do you think I am handsome, aren't I? I know. Do you think we have a way out of all of this? It feels hopeless being here. We do. It's gonna suck. I will never lie to you. We fucked up in the last elections. We did. You listen to a bunch of morons saying that the most important thing is the Middle East and this, that, and forgot that, when the United States collapses, which nobody believed could happen, the entire world goes into crisis, not just the Middle East. Focus. Yes, we can get out of this. We can, but we have to not just take power back. We have to decimate the Republicans in the next election. Catherine Ryan, thank you, Texas Paul, for creating this community, educating me, and saying out loud my inner thoughts. Tomorrow is the 250th anniversary of the start of the Revolutionary War, and I will be attending a No Kings rally in Quincy, Massachusetts. Save our democracy. Amen, folks. Keep turning out. I've told you, be careful with the protests. No masks. If you're not there to commit crimes, you don't need a mask. And videotape. Keep those phones out. Do it. Anybody that tells you to take the battery out of your phone or don't be trackable to these events and stuff like that are planning to commit crimes. Don't do it. You've seen what's happened. Their whole movement has collapsed because there was no violence on our part. None. Their narrative is fucking gone. Keep it up. You people are killing it. Keep it up. Asborn, and one last thing on that before I get to Mr. Newton's comment. They are going to try to create false flags. They are going to. They did it in Black Lives Matter. They did it. These white supremacist organizations that make up MAGA, they will send bad actors to break windows, to set things on fire, to start violence, to attack police. They shot into a police station. Remember the Boogaloo Boys shot into a Texas guy. They arrested him and drug his ass off to jail. He's in jail. Trying to pretend to be a Black Lives Matter protester, this white supremacist shot into a police station. Phones out, folks. You get them all. Mr. Knudsen, the courts will hold the lawyers in contempt and they will be disbarred even if pardoned by Trump, but vote blue in the midterms. Amen. Amen. There will be consequences for this, folks, but it will take time. I got a video I want to play for you from John Leguizamo. I've got it queued up for you. That is just it. You know what? Let me just do it now. I'm gonna shift things around, and we're just gonna play that video from John Leguizamo right now. Barbara Langley, the International Criminal Court should charge Trump with crimes against humanity. Yeah, we're probably going to get there before we're over. We probably are before we're over. But look, I've always been a fan of John Leguizamo. John Leguizamo as a comedian, as an actor. He is hilarious. He has worked his ass off to bring as many great characters. His stand-up is fantastic. But some of the work I admire most has been his activism. And man, I tell you what, he has knocked it out of the park. If you are on Blue Sky, go find, I'm gonna show you right now his page on Blue Sky so you can find it and follow him. He just put out like an 8-part what do we do now? But I'm going to play the first part. I can't play because it's like an hour's worth of his time but just I'm going to play the first section for you and you'll get the idea. I mean, you'll understand. This is John Leguizamo's. Hold on. Blue Sky auto plays. I'm sorry, but this is John Leguizamo at Blue Sky Social. I'm already following him. I don't know why it keeps unfollowing me from him. I've had to refollow him 3 times today. Make sure that it gets it done when you follow him. I've had to refollow him 3 times today. But here's the title of it. So if you want to just do a search and find it easily, it's Democrats Project 2029 Part 1. Ah, shit, it didn't share. Hold on. All kinds of technical difficulties today. All right, here we go. This is John Leguizamo's page. Yeah, it's sharing now. Thank you for being patient. This is John Leguizamo's page. It's at johnleguizamo.bluesky.social. Damn it, I just followed him and it's unfollowed me again. Make sure that it sticks. Keep after it. This is the post so that if you just want to do a search up here in the search bar to make it easy for you to find it, you can either just search John Leguizamo's name and scroll through, or if you want to find Part 1, you just do a search for Democrats Project 2029 Part 1. This is Part 1. I want you to hear what he's got to say.
Number 1, form an independent civilian-powered investigative coalition. I'm talking experts, veterans, whistleblowers, journalists, watchdog orgs. Deputize the resistance. Build a real-time archive of corruption, overreach, and executive abuse. Make it public. Make it unshakable. Let the people drag the rot into light. If you can't hold formal hearings, hold public ones. If Congress won't act, let the country act. This isn't about optics, it's about receipts, because at some point, these people will be held accountable. And when that day comes, we'll need every name, every signature, every illegal order, every act of silence documented. You're not just preserving truth, you're preparing evidence for prosecution. The more they vanish people and weaponize data, the more we need truth in the sunlight.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Nailed it. Pablo 01 says, we need to talk about the military's firing of career officers and senior enlisted and the whitewashing of its rich history. Yeah, this is all, like John Leguizamo says, when you participate, when you're part of this community and you participate in social media, you are documenting for posterity. You are making it so that people cannot and do not forget. You are really, you're doing something, folks. You are doing something. And I am telling you, what he's talking about there, and I just want to be clear about this. There are warriors on the Democratic side doing these very things right now. We need to amplify it. Make it more. Make it part of your social media history. Every one of these things that we talk about, share it so that you can go back later and you can access it on your own. People forget. They do. Document. He's absolutely right. But there are good people. Mark Elias always comes to mind that are out there fighting these fights. And you make it clear. This isn't going away. This is one of the things that is going to force Republicans to finally act. One, they're going to get killed in the next elections. They are. And two, make it really clear None of this is going away, and you will pay the price for it. We will make you pay for this. And I don't just mean electorally. You will be held accountable. Lena P., be aware of the SAVED Act and how it could affect the midterms. Contact your senators. Again, the SAVED Act is just, look, it's one of those things I'm telling you. They push it because it's got talking points in it that they can use, but we know it's going to be used for voter suppression. One of the things is that wives have to provide documentation. If you're using a married name, Mrs. Texas Paul is going to have to prove that she is who she was when she was born. They're just going to make another hoop to jump through. That's part of voter suppression. So they can go back and pull the same shit that they're pulling in North Carolina right now, where they're trying to steal an election by getting rid of 65,000 legitimate legal votes. They're just claiming that even though it was the state that screwed up, that these Democrats, and they only went after Democrat leaning areas, they're not challenging the exact same votes in Republican areas, just Democrats. We know what they're going to do. We do. It's our responsibility to make sure that no matter what the frickin' hoop is, no matter what it is, we get it done and we vote in overwhelming numbers. That's on us. And you are right. You are right. But we can't say, oh, they passed the SAVE Act, so, oh, it's terrible. So, oh, it's used. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. Kate Marylight, what distinguishes a concentration camp from a prison is that the camp runs outside of the judicial system from the Holocaust Museum. Amen. And that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. These are camps. They're not prison. They are we're seeing them try to repeat their bigoted white hate history. Rich, amen, brother. Thank you for being here with the support. Thank you for always being here, one of the foundational members of the show. Start gathering receipts. Amen. Amen. Sharon Reddy, shine the lights in the corners where the bigotry mold grows. Amen. I'm hearing you. Scott S., USMC will never give up its history no matter what DOJ site says. This is the kind of thing that I'm telling you they're running afoul of. This is the kind of thing that we need to keep amplifying. Everybody gets this. Everybody gets this. And remember, you're not going to reach the heart of a bigot. They'll always be MAGA. Those bigots will always be MAGA. You just need enough that you can democratically win. Fight that way. Don't try to end evil in American men. You won't. You won't. They will always be here. You're not going to change their hearts. You're not. They were shit before. They're shit now. They'll be shit in the future. They'll be the ones whining like gutshot hogs. They'll be the ones lying about the economy. Just making up shit about the economy. That's who these awful people are. Make them the pariahs they are. You disgust me. Stay away from me. Nika T, what do you think about what David Hogg is doing? Just asking. I think that he has found a niche and he's amplifying. He's a good person who has found a niche that has found a way to amplify all of his message by writing a segment of the Democratic Party that is doomed to fail. That's what I think. I think that it works for him. It gets him notoriety. It is part of his history. He's a good man, and he's trying to use what he's got. It does not change that this is a loser for us in general. I don't want him to go away. I don't. I just want to make sure that we don't end up being exactly what the Republicans want us to be publicly. Does that make sense? Was I clear about that? But I know we got sidetracked. We were talking about Ukraine and the fact that the Trump regime is going to try to slink away and pretend like they didn't fail. They're going to try to blame somebody else because there isn't going to be a peace deal. But I've got to hand it to Volodymyr Zelensky. He understands what and who he's dealing with. And he may have pulled a rabbit out of the hat. He may have pulled a rabbit out of the hat. This was part of the same article that I just showed you the headline to. Progress on minerals deal. Rubio's comments came as the U.S. and Ukraine are nearing a long-delayed deal granting the U.S. access to Ukraine's vast mineral resources, which has been intertwined with with President Donald Trump's peace push. Trump said Thursday, "We have a minerals deal." Ukraine's economy minister said Friday that the two countries signed a memorandum of intent ahead of a possible fuller agreement later. The deal, which Ukrainian economy minister Yulia Severodinko said she has signed with the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, is expected to pave the way for significant investments, infrastructure, and modernization and long-term cooperation. They judoed him. They judoed them. They used their greed and their bigotry. Trump wants to be able to control access to mining to Ukraine so that he can absolutely force people to bribe him. I 100% believe in my heart of hearts that is what that is all about. And the Ukrainians understand that first and foremost with the Trump regime, it is greed. So they have judoed them into a deal, used their own greed momentum against them to make the Trump regime have a financial vested interest in pushing Russia out of Ukrainian territory, because some of the richest territory in Ukraine is now occupied by Russians. I've said it over and over and over again. War is young men dying and old men making money. And it's ugly. I know it's ugly. None of that story feels good. But you still have to take your hat off to Volodymyr Zelensky, because he absolutely manipulated Trump in the one way that Trump can be 100% wholly manipulated. He just made Trump financially vested in his criminal empire into the survival of Ukraine. And it's working, because you've got his stooge out there saying, well, we're withdrawing from any peace talks. Russia's not happy about that. Russia is not happy about that. Russia doesn't win unless they can manipulate these peace talks. Us backing out just means Ukraine keeps getting weapons and Ukraine keeps fighting. And Ukraine now can offer Donald crooked ass Trump more than Vladimir Putin can. For now. And we'll see if Vladimir Putin can survive what he would have to do to bribe Trump again. Ben Kaneko, thanks for being here. Yep. I've got to tell you, I am just hats off, Mr. Zelensky. I got to tell you, you handled these jackasses just right. You did. You absolutely did. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. I want to get Philip Ittner on the show to come here and talk about this long, see what he thinks about it. But yeah, just wow, overnight, 100%. I told you, there's no morals to these people. There's no fealty to anything, not democracy, not the Constitution, not anybody, nothing. There's nothing to them. Republicans are spineless, greedy, sick. They've got no beliefs. They don't. They'll sell out their religion too. They've got no fealty to Christianity. No. As long as it's useful, they'll use it. And they're morons. They're just morons. You remember Trump talking about how, man, you can't just railing about, when Joe Biden made open threats and said, look, don't do this. And it's been in every single situation where we've had to get militarily involved. Trump sits there and says, oh, look at them. They threatened and they told them what they were going to do. They telegraphed what they're going to do. I'm the negotiator. You never tell anybody what you're going to do. You never warn them and let them know in advance. That's just stupid. Mr. Newton, Zelensky knows how to manipulate corrupt mobsters. Yeah, he's been having to deal with Putin forever. So yeah, Mr. Don't tell him what you're going to do. That's stupid. Just did this. Sat in the Oval Office and told China there will be no more tariffs. It's high enough. If I go any higher, then people just stop buying and it's bad. So no more new tariffs. Of course, the idiot is trying to placate the markets, is what he's trying to do. He's getting killed because his economic policies are destroying trillions of dollars in wealth. Our stock markets have not been able to mount a recovery from the massive losses because of his idiotic tariff stupidity. So he's trying to placate that. And what does he do? He tells the Chinese, oh, no more tariffs from us, man. That's it. No more. Moron. Just a complete and utter moron. And of course, at the same time, you've got, man, what would Fox News be if there wasn't a violated white man? If there wasn't a violated white man, what would Fox News be? China lashes out, says peasants in the United States will suffer from trade war. And I'm offended as a white man. I am. They called us peasants. Can you believe that? Oh my God. The Chinese called us peasants. Of course, Fox didn't actually tell people that it is a tongue-in-cheek response to the Vice President of the United States calling the Chinese peasants. But the white men are so offended you called them peasants. When our Vice President blew up trade negotiations, literally the Chinese stood up and walked away from trade negotiations because this dumbass went on Fox News. JD Dumbass Vance, the D in JD stands for dumbass, stood up in the middle of trade negotiations and called the Chinese peasants, said, we're sitting here borrowing money from Chinese peasants. And the Chinese didn't dig it. The Chinese said, you will fucking respect me. And I don't blame them. I really don't. I really don't blame them. Never forget the D in JD Vance stands for dumbass. And I tell you, the Chinese have been on a roll, man. They have been on a roll. This is the Chinese embassy's social media page. You know, I got to come up with a good nickname for Levitt, for Caroline Levitt. I really do. I mean, something on par with Bigot Barbie. I really do. Matter of fact, I think I may crowdsource that one. You guys, y'all have my email address. Y'all come up with a good nickname for her that is on par for this dumbass sitting there. And you've got to love what the Chinese did here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This was just bullshit, Barbie. There you go. Perfect. Brad Poley wins it right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. Brad Poley. This was a good one. Honorable mention to Michelle Mercedita for Lion Levitt. That was a good one. We may use that one too. But bullshit, Barbie. There you go. Brad Poley, you win right out of the gate. Bullshit Barbie is sitting there. It seems like Lion Levitt's popular, though. Seems like, yeah, Lionel's popular. Anyway, she's sitting there at the podium railing against Chinese goods and how the tariffs work because people buy too many Chinese goods. People just want cheap Chinese goods. Silly Bee-Boo, Skipper is Barbie's little sister. Y'all kill me, man. Y'all kill me. So what did the Chinese embassy put out on their social media page? The exact time she was giving the speech, they posted the exact outfit that bullshit Barbie was wearing and the website from the factory in China where wholesalers go to buy it. I mean, you have got to frickin' love it. And this wasn't the only time. This wasn't the only time because she's made this stupid statement multiple times. And every time she does it, they do the same thing. They take the outfit that she's wearing, they post it next to the website from the Chinese factory where you wholesalers go and buy that exact outfit. I mean, that. Oh my God. Oh my God. So yeah, let's just chalk up the score. One, they rope-a-dope Fox News because Fox News had the violated, offended white people that are upset about being called peasants. Rope-a-dope them because our own vice president called the Chinese people peasants. And then they just straight up troll bullshit Barbie by posting the exact outfit she's wearing and the link to the Chinese factory where you can order wholesale that exact outfit. I fucking love the Chinese. I do. I do. I liked the Chinese before. I did. I always saw them as competitors. Don't get me wrong. I always saw them as competitors. I never saw them as evil. I never saw them as you know, you've got these hard sellers, these hawks that are constantly, forgive me, that are trying to sell the evil empire shit about the Chinese. All they really want to do is undermine us and rule the world. Bullshit. The Chinese are the Chinese people. They're trying to do right by their people. They're a competitor. They're a global competitor. So yes, they're working on influence globally, but no, it's not freaking an evil empire. It's not. And I've always respected them, but I really like them now. They are punching so high above their weight right now. It is hilarious. It is hilarious. Thank you, Denise, for supporting the show. I do. I can't help it. I can't help it. I mean, you just have to love the moxie and the smarts. Hell, that's why they're trying to ban TikTok. I'm telling you, before they ban TikTok, go look up an account called Mandarin Megan. Yeah, they have had a push on TikTok forever, winning over the American people by having very charming people giving language lessons, talking about Chinese life. They've got Chinese fashion influencers, showing you where you can get your Hermes bag in China in the upscale shopping districts. And China's been killing it. They really have. I mean, I wish I could, they're our competitors, I wish I could shit all over them. I did, but I can't. They're doing a great job. They really are. But yeah, I mean, just that's what we've got in these trade negotiations. And I told you from the beginning, everybody was freaking out. And I'm like, look, I get it. It's going to suck. They're going to do bad things. They are. But you have to take heart in the fact that they are incompetent. And I know their incompetence is causing problems. It's blowing things up. Hell, let me take a pause and pull up what the markets did yesterday. The markets are closed today, by the way. It's Good Friday. I hope you're having a good Friday. Let me just pull up the markets from Friday. Yeah, lost another 530 points on Friday. I don't know about these straight down lines. Is somebody that's a financial analyst or financial advisor tell me, are these straight down lines? That's bad, right? That's bad. That's not a good thing. But yeah, look at this since Trump took office. I don't have a 3 month. I can only go back to the 6 month, but you can tell it was up here. And then over 4,000, almost 4,200 points the Dow's lost from Trump and his stupidity. So yeah, I mean, I'm telling you in one hand to take heart in the fact that they are morons. They are. This immigration, the way they're handling this immigration thing, thank God they're morons. If they had smarter attorneys and smarter people, this could be really dangerous. It really could. But the fact that they're just such incompetent jackasses they've got a Supreme Court that is just begging them, please, we're politicos. We're political. We're on your side. We're working on your team, but you keep doing this so badly, even I can't help you. I mean, that's literally what's happening with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is sending out briefs telling the Trump administration, the Trump regime, do it this way. And the Trump regime is just too stupid. They're just incompetent. This could be much worse. And I got to tell you, this is going on right now. This is going on right now. This is Judge Ellen Hollander. Actually, this is a painting of Judge Ellen Hollander. It's the best image I could find of her. There aren't a lot of images of Judge Hollander. This is a portrait of Judge Hollander. She just did this. And it's the second time she's done it. Judge orders new limits on Doge data access at Social Security Administration. Thank God. Because I've got to tell you, folks, it is clear. Elon Musk and Doge, this has nothing to do with fraud. This has nothing to do with saving money. In typical Elon Musk fashion, they promised, we're going to save $2 trillion in fraud and waste. They're down to $95 billion from $2 trillion. to 95 billion. Oh, look at what Doge is doing. We're going to save you 95 million. And that 95 billion isn't going to save us shit. They're just going to cut it, and then it's going to end up costing us more money in the long run. So what are they doing? If it's not about what they're saying they're doing, which is about, fraud and shit like that, what are they doing? It's the data. It's the data. They are mining and stealing all our data. That's what it's all about. It is painfully clear. And folks, if you think it's not worth it, you need to look at the last several elections and just how incredibly targeted the Republican machine has become by using data, our data. This is about stealing the data. This is about, and think about the morons out there they've been able to manipulate by just lying. Just by flat out lying about what they're finding. 150-year-old people getting Social Security. It doesn't matter how many times we say, no, they're just morons that don't understand COBOL. Didn't happen. But you still have the bigots out there that are like, please give me something. Give me anything that I could lick your taint with. Just give me any excuse to keep licking your taint. Oh, fraud. They're committing fraud with the Social Security. Okay, cool. Take my Social Security because of fraud. Meanwhile, the same people that screamed about the government and overreach and how they can't have your information. The government can't know what we're doing. Your cell phone can't track you. Oh my God, they'll know that I'm going to Cracker Barrel. Are the same people that are like, take it. My guy's taking it. Here, let me lick the taint. These people have no morals. They have no spine. No, nothing. It is about stealing your data. That is what this is about now. That is why Doge exists. They won't tell people what they're doing. And Judge Hollander's order specifically addresses this. It's 150 pages. She knew exactly what the Supreme Court would do. They have telegraphed this on how they are batting this shit down. And in her order, she is perfectly clear as to why and just nails it. But the Supreme Court has decided they're going to hear this in expedited fashion. Let that sink in. They have bumped everything on their calendar. They're going to make this. They're going to hear this argument May 15th. They put this one on a rocket. The Inquisitive Prince, as a former Republican turned progressive after the George W. Bush debacle, I know the Republicans. You have to fight these Republicans at every turn. Dems are finally learning to really fight. Thank you for being here, my friend. Thank you for being here. Keep reminding people. Keep reminding people. E.T., foundational member of the show, put a lot of the community, put a lot of the data into your homegrown ALs. You can figure out a lot more than what regular data mining can not figure out. Very powerful. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And let me explain this. Why this is such a tell. The Supreme Court is telling all of us they are political. They are political. Why? Why would they expedite this? It's not critical. And this judge very clearly laid out. She put all of the arguments that Ludek, you remember that low-level stooge I told you they put in charge of Social Security that is just rubber stamping? The lawyers are handing Ludek briefs saying, say this. She took all of his responses and pointed out how they conflict with each other. And the ones that are arguing they've got to have this data doesn't tell anybody why or how it applies to what he's talking about. She did an amazing job. She threw, not just a curveball to the Supreme Court. This ball is dancing left and right. Good luck hitting this one, John Roberts. But they're going to try because they're trying to make the argument. Remember, I told you I would bet my life, that Samuel Alito is directly briefing the Trump regime. The argument that they put forward is we need to be able to work on this. Even if you want to say we can't do it, this judge is telling us we can't work on it. I can't order my departments to prepare. And that's crossing the line. That is the judiciary stepping into the administration, the executive. You following me? That's the argument. They're not saying that this judge isn't right, that we can't do this. This is all an argument over an executive order. And they're not saying that the judge is wrong. They're not saying that the plaintiffs are wrong. They're just saying this judge is telling us, the executive branch, that we can't work on this. And that's wrong. And that is exactly what the Supreme Court wants to hear. Remember the due deference to the administration and the president and everything they keep putting in all this? This is their catch-all excuse for the Supreme Court to attack these things. Howie, thanks for being here. I think President Bone Spurs should get mispronounced. That's his wife's maiden name, to give him an to clean out his head. He'd probably love to finally get attention from her. Amen, brother. Amen. I hear you. Those two are just gross. She's playing DDR heavy mode. I'm telling you. This was brilliant. This judge made this argument brilliantly. But this is what the Supreme Court's going to do. I'm going to bet my hat on this is what the Supreme Court's going to do. They're going to keep repeating that the judiciary can't tell. What they're doing is wrong. But we can't tell the executive how to run things. And then the Trump regime's going to run out to Fox News and say, woo, we won because the Supreme Court didn't uphold everything this judge said. See, they said this judge was wrong. And you're going to get morons like the guys that were sitting at lunch at Arby's repeating that stupid shit. Them damn judges are just trying to interfere with Trump when he's doing his job. This Supreme Court is in the game. They are playing full on politics. Because if they can expedite this one question, they could expedite the whole question, not just this one aspect, not just the injunction. They could deal with it all. But they're not. Because they lose. They know they lose. In the end, they lose. But they're going to keep this. Remember, I told you, the 2025 project, the whole thing is to pretend you're inevitable. And it's to keep making the arguments to the bigots, the ones that are sitting there, please give me something to hold on to. Give them a little nugget that they can lie about. The Supreme Court is in the game. Thank you for supporting the show, Warren Benson. I appreciate you, my friend. They could deal with the entire issue if they really, if if they can expedite this, they could have taken on the entire case. And they refused. They refuse. All they want to do is they want to play this bullshit game of you can't tell the executive branch that they can't order their departments to prepare. In which case they'll violate that order and they will do more than just prepare. They will act. This Supreme Court is in the game. And we can't ever forget it. We can't ever forget it. Boy, folks, can you believe we made it to another Friday? Another week has gone by. Another week has gone by. And things are just looking better and better. They are. They're just looking better and better. Loretta Banks, in regards to David Hogg, I agree, but should have left behind closed doors. If Marshall and Ginsburg had left under a Democratic president, things would be different. We need to think about the future. Yes, we need to be much more strategic. We need to start. That's why I'm telling you, that's what I'm doing, folks. This isn't just some willy-nilly idea. You want to talk about 3D chess? This is moving the pawns. When I tell you get involved with your local Democratic Party and win these local elections, yeah, that's 3D chess, folks. When I tell you embarrass them, don't run out and argue about, God damn it. Look, you know how many Democrats are just like me, just sitting here right now. You're going to argue taking the guns away from me? From me? Really? You think you're going to do that with me? And I'm as Democrat as they come. Fight the fights that win. Fight the fights that politically win so that you can have power and you can get things done. You hear me? You follow me? You follow me? And David Hogg, I don't have a bad feeling about him at all. I don't have anything negative to say about what he's doing at all. I understand it. Shannon Watts also. They're out there making the arguments that work for them because they know they're making an overarching general large argument that is beyond just guns. And what their argument does gets them a lot of support and gets a lot of people standing behind them. It's momentum. I get it. That's why I'm not against these people. I'm just desperately telling you, don't have the arguments the Republicans want you to have. Don't. Have the ones that work. Show them that they are wrecking the economy. Show them that egg prices are higher than ever. Show them that they're failures. Show them that they're trying to steal your data, that they're shredding the Constitution. Those things win. Because remember, it's a spectrum. Okay? It's a spectrum. And people fall on that political spectrum regarding different subjects in different places. It's not just a one thing. So make the arguments that drag as many people as possible to you. That's how we win. That's how we do good things. That's how we do good things. That's how we do good things. No, actually, they're not. They're not down. Egg prices are not down. I was at the store yesterday. I can tell you, they're not down. Hamburger, the national average for hamburger, 80-20 hamburger selling at $5.97 a pound. Hamburger. Keep driving it home. Yes, energy prices are going to fall. But hey, remind people, all of these folks working in the oil industry and make their livings off the oil industry that work at oil services company, they're all getting bankrupted. We're losing those jobs. See what I'm saying there? Make the arguments how they work, because in the end, we're going to do good things. We're going to keep the institutions. We're going to keep the institutions moving forward. We're going to keep the institutions protecting us. We're going to keep our government working for everybody. We're in the right. We're doing righteous work. But let's not I've already apologized 1,000 times for this. Let's not get high on our own supply and forget that we're only talking to each other. You understand that these voter ID laws, you understand the Republican Party is going to abuse them and use them for voter suppression. That's a fact. We've seen them do it. But to the average dumbass out there that's not us, that doesn't see big picture, they got no problem. They got to present their ID to buy their twisted tea. They got no problem presenting that ID when they're voting. So does it behoove us to fight and say, you can't do that? You can't make us show an ID. That's a loser. That's a loser. Don't fight that fight. Fight the fight that says no poll taxes. IDs have to be free now. Nothing in the world is free, but you don't have to pay for it. You get your ID free of charge. You make it so that grandma that everybody brings up that has been voting for 80 years, that doesn't have all the ID that she needs and can't find her birth certificate, you make it the law that we have to get it for her. That's a winner. That's a winner argument. Fight to win, folks. Liberty Blair, thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the show. Wendy Bauman, thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the show. That is what I have for you today, folks. Kurt Aiken, apparently young people are rebranding Victory Gardens as Resistance Gardens. I like it too, man. I like that too. I really do. I love you know what? I come off sometimes as a crotchety old bastard to these young people. I really do. But I love them, man. I love them. Even if they're not experienced and they're not always driving in the right direction. That fire, I love that, man. I love that. I see that and I'm like, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Because they won't be dumbasses forever. They won't. They'll learn. They'll smarten up. But if they got that drive, it'll keep it going. Love you folks. It's old Texas Paul. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.